Welcome back to the By Design Podcast. I'm your host, Ronnie Knuckles. So we have taken a 30-day break, and we are coming back. It does feel a little bit weird to be back in the saddle. I kind of got out of the habit of it. Felt like we were in a good groove, but we needed to take a break to focus on Spearcrest Digital. We are still experiencing the growth we were experiencing before we took the break. However, we can't just let the podcast sit around forever. We started it for a reason. And we've kind of changed our focus as we come back. We're going to be doing some different things than we were before, shifting our focus to the entrepreneurial side and, bringing some entrepreneurs on to share their journey and the challenges that they face and how they've overcome them and all that, which I had talked about at the last episode that we did. We've got some things already recorded that we're going to be sharing over the coming weeks. But before we get too much into that, we just wanted to come on and kind of give a quick welcome back episode. And we did have some listeners that were downloading, a decent amount of listeners that were downloading and tuning into every episode. And so we are back. We will be back every Monday. This one's going to be coming out like Monday afternoon. Today is the 15th? Today's the 15th.
Yep.
So this will be coming out Monday the 15th, and then all future episodes will be dropping on Monday morning at 8 a.m. So thank you all for being patient. In the background, things have been going pretty well at Spearcrest. I still feel, and I was a little bit torn about coming back already, but, we made the commitment to come back after 30 days, and I feel like we got, relatively caught up in that time. But we're in a good spot now that I think, we have some episodes in the chamber. We partnered with a dumpster rental software company in that time. So we partnered with iCans, and we were able to get them on the podcast. So that'll be our next episode. We will have the leadership team from iCans on discussing what came about, like why that software exists, and what their plans are to do in the future, and what we're going to do with them to kind of fill the gap. So that's going to be a good episode. And we also have some dumpster rental business owners coming on. I'm going to be jumping on a podcast with a junk removal guy turned software guy. So a lot of fun stuff coming up. But with all that said, we didn't want to make this a super long episode. There are some things that have transpired just in the last week before we decided to come back. And I think that we'd be remiss not to talk about those things. I'd planned on maybe talking about 9/11 a bit. 9/11 was last week. That was a bit overshadowed by the events that took place on the 10th. That was my original plan, to talk about 9/11 because I was a kid when that happened. You and I were both kids.
Yeah.
But then, of course, what happened on the 10th, with Charlie Kirk and that entire situation kind of overshadowed 9/11. You kind of forgot about it. So
really dark time.
Yeah, weird time, man. Almost, here's what I'll say. We had talked about before taking the break on the show that what we do a lot, or what we had done a lot on this show, is we'll dance around things to try not to offend people. But in the same breath, we started this show not to get millions of listeners. If that happens at some point, great, but we did it because we want to sit down and have good conversations. It got to a point where it was feeling like work. And it got to a point where it felt like we were dancing around certain things because we were afraid to say them.
Yeah.
And we had made the commitment, I don't know if you remember on the last episode, we're going to stop doing that. And if we say something and if it's incorrect, we need to be willing to come back and correct ourselves. But we need to say what we think and say what we feel. Mm-hmm. And we need to be a little bit more bold.
And truly be open to feedback. We're open to that from the people that listen to this show. There's an avenue for them to voice their opinion, and if there's any correction that or something we missed, let us know.
Yeah, and I'll say, not everybody on the show agrees with each other either, which is good too. We're not an echo chamber. We welcome outside opinions. That said, we can also not say things that need to be said sometimes in an effort to not offend. Mm-hmm. And I think the truth that we carry in us, in our faith, is offensive. Naturally. It's naturally offensive. We don't need to be offensive, but we still need to boldly claim our faith and let that offensiveness be what it needs to be, because the truth hurts. It's as simple as that. It hurts so bad that people will want to kill you over it. And
Yeah.
we just saw that. But that's our call. You know what I mean? That's what we are called to do, to be willing to proclaim the truth regardless of what people think or what they're willing to do to shut us up. And I think we're done dancing around the truth. Not that we're going to be out here. We're not a political podcast. That's not who we are. That's
Right.
not what we're here for.
And it's not political, but for us, it's all about Christ. Christ is in everything.
Yeah.
You know,
We're a faith-based podcast.
Yeah, everything we do is to hopefully somehow bring glory to God.
Right.
And that's offensive to some people. You know, God is offensive. But also, you know, you said like we disagree on stuff, but one thing we do agree on is that Jesus Christ is Lord.
Yeah.
And he is the way, the truth, and the life.
Right.
The only way to heaven is through Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We
that
universally
needs to be-
agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I guess.
Outside of that, as a group of believers, we can, like we do, we can talk about anything and,
Right.
and debate.
Yeah. Yeah, we debate. We're not the most educated debaters, which is fine. I mean, we are no Charlie Kirks for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess that's my point. I mean, you know, you're right. We universally agree that Jesus is the only way to salvation, and that He loves you. But you know, we may disagree politically, and so, but we're not a political show anyway. Like, we're not on here getting into the left and the right and really peeling back that onion. I think occasionally it comes up. But as far as our faith goes, we're going to be more bold, period. And, you know, what happened last week with Charlie Kirk was, I don't know, man, it was a wake-up call. And just really, because I don't think he was killed over his political ideologies. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Now, maybe some will claim that, but I think that there are powers at work, spiritual forces at work. Honestly, I think that you know, Satan is working through people, and they're trying to quash any kind of revival. But I think the opposite is going to happen, or is happening. I mean, 3 million people in London, England, which is most recently known as a secular nation, really becoming
They
almost
were arresting. I think one of our more recent podcasts, we were talking about how they were arresting street preachers.
They were, yeah,
because for being offensive or whatever reason they came up with.
yeah. Well, you know, First Amendment doesn't exist in England, but also they're becoming like a Muslim nation, and so anyway, long story short, to see 3 million people, and most, not all, Christians, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of people there were not Christians, but marching and having prayer in response to the death of someone that isn't even from their country speaks volumes. Then you see it happening in Spain and Australia, and of course across the United States. There's a movement. There was already a revival undertone, I feel like. I feel like a lot of young, especially in the young, I don't know, you know, the world seems, in our environment, in the middle of America, upper South, feels like there is an undertone revival happening, especially in the younger, our age, millennials and below, are gravitating toward faith in a way that they haven't in our lifetime yet. Then this happens, and I think it woke a lot of people up to go, oh, maybe there's something actually to this. Because I think a lot of people saw it for what it was. This wasn't an attack on Charlie's politics. It was an attack on Christians, like as a whole. And it was a public execution. And everybody saw it. And it, you know, if it's moving the hearts of grown men that maybe weren't even aligned with faith, and now all of a sudden they're starting to go to church. And I've seen a ton of that on TikTok and Instagram. Like a lot of people saying, I haven't gone to church in 10 years. I think like 5 people on my Facebook that I've seen just in the last couple of days, like yesterday was the first day I went to church in 15 years.
Yeah.
There's a movement because of this.
One of my friends at church, her mom came for the first time in 30 years.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I think that the point of the killing was to silence Charlie, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that, he said things that that if you have no faith, you would likely agree with. He would challenge those things. But he was conversational. Like the whole point was, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
His entire brand was prove me wrong. That's how he got started. Before he started Turning Point USA, he would go to college campuses and put a little sign on or a little flyer on his table. He was trying to open up conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was, and I watched a clip of him the other day, and it was this transgender, I think it was a girl who was trying to become a boy, I guess. Mm-hmm. But genuinely asked the question, I'm not sure why I feel this way. I've gone to doctors. People are always trying to like affirm my feelings and like telling me this is normal, but something in me knows that it isn't, but this is how I feel. What do you think? Is something wrong with me? Essentially is what she was asking Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk had a really good answer. Essentially he was saying that, we're all born into sin, and we all struggle with our own sins. And some of that is identity. For some people, that's an identity thing, right? Yeah. And he was giving her hope in Jesus. And then he said, you need to go seek out some real, non-biased medical professionals to give you a real opinion, because the hormone therapy and things that you're taking are hurting your body. They're damaging your body, right? If he were spewing hate, he would have never done that.
Right.
He would have never had that conversation. And so I think, a lot of the things he said have been misconstrued. They're taking portions of quotes that he said. They're not giving the whole quote in context, which we see a lot. But I think, anyway, my point in all of that is saying they were trying to silence that because the movement was growing. And I think what they did was they doubled down the movement because more people are coming to Christ than ever before.
Yeah. I read something, Turning Point USA. And I'm not even exactly sure what they're all about. I know.
Turning Point USA is Charlie Kirk's company.
Right.
So I'll tell you real quick.
Okay.
They have chapters at college campuses. Mm-hmm. And so their point is to reach conservative youth and grow them as Christians and conservatives. So, and then to debate, it's almost like a debate. So like you can start a chapter at a university and then you will debate people on your campus, right? And you're trying to draw people in to talk about your ideas and then draw them into Christ at the same time. Okay. Over 38, is this where you were going?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'll let you go.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say over 38,000 applications in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, since he was assassinated, since he was martyred.
Yeah, so...
And that's chilling, man. It's like, we thought the youth were on fire before this. We have talked about this offline, about this revival that we've been witnessing since Asbury.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Asbury was crazy. But nothing in comparison.
And that was just a little spark, man. Mm-hmm. And what's happened since then, I mean, you've seen with Ohio State pretty much started the
college football thing.
College revival.
Yeah. Well, there were 6,000 people in Rupp Arena 2 months ago.
Yeah. And they're still doing it.
Right.
Like you can go and find, it wasn't a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Like these guys are on fire for Christ.
Yeah.
And they're keeping it going.
Yeah.
They're having more Bible studies and baptizing. I think I saw another one the other day that was like 1,000 people or something came and were preached to and accepted Christ and got baptized.
Yeah.
And then you can even see it in like kids, man.
Yeah.
Like 12-year-old kids are breaking down in front of Christ and surrendering their lives to him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that was the point. I think that's why God allowed this to happen. Mm-hmm. And dude, I'll be honest, when it first happened, I was pretty mad. Like the flesh in me was angry, like angry. And like murderous angry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they want this fight, then they can get it. And I feel like a lot of people are still probably there. Because, you look at it through an American lens, Before, this is a fault of mine, but I looked at it through an American lens rather than through a Christian lens. Mm-hmm. And my initial thought was, they want a cultural war of violence. Let's give it to them.
Yeah.
There's no chance. We will squash them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I was real mad for a couple days. It took me a couple days. So I was honestly like, dude, I don't know what this is. I'm like praying about it. I'm like, whatever this anger, instantaneous. Because of course, we saw the video here at the office, and at first I thought, if that's real, he's dead. You know what I mean? Like and they were like, oh, they're giving him blood. There's a chance he's going to live. I'm like, well, if the video that we saw was real, he was dead before he hit the ground. Mm-hmm. And I was mad. Well, you know how I reacted. Yeah. I mean, I was so mad I had to go outside and walk around for a minute. Mm-hmm. And not because I was like a huge Charlie Kirk follower. Like, I saw his posts and I knew who he was and I listened to it. He had some good points that I agree with and so on. But also, like, I'm not a big, like, I don't know. I'm not a fanboy of people.
Right.
Like, I have people that I like, Philip Anthony Mitchell.
You can recognize someone that can speak in such a way that it's like, oh, that is his ability to speak and what he is saying is inspired by the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
Period. And also, there's something to charismatic speaking that draws you in, especially if it's people that you agree with, because they're saying things that you want to voice, but they do it much more eloquently, and they can get the point across. And I don't know. And so Charlie Kirk always kind of did that. If I would see certain clips of him. Anyway, I wasn't like a huge fanboy, but I knew that he was a Christian and that, we aligned in our faith. And so when that happened, and the fact that he was a conservative, and at first I looked at it through a political lens. But then, after a couple of days, I realized that it really had nothing to do with his politics. It was an attempt, the enemy worked through a human to take the life of a Christian who was spreading the gospel on a mass scale to silence that voice. But, Satan is not all-knowing. He is not all-powerful. And he overplayed his hand. Mm-hmm. And so Christ is going to use that for his good, for our good and his glory. Yeah. And that's how it's going to be, and we're seeing it already. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I think that it was a difficult thing for me to come to, but it's like, hey, the mission now is to love these people through this, because I think that's the point, and that's really what Charlie was trying to do. He could disagree with these people and make them mad, right? By telling the truth, like make them so mad that they hated him enough to kill him. But that's what the truth does. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, but he never hated them, and neither should we. And we don't need a cultural war in the United States, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think what is going to happen, we've already seen, and it's mass prayer, it's mass coming to Christ, and it was quick. There were people like me that I know that were like, we should just wipe these people off the face of the earth. We've tried to be nice, we've tried to accept them, we've tried to let their ideas flow and kind of look the other way, but that's over. Let's just end it. I just don't. I think Americans are too lazy to actually do some stuff like that. The thought is nice, but people they ain't really about the business. If you remove that, and let's say that they are, it would never stick, one, and two, you're just doing what the other side was doing in the first place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you're playing into Satan's hand, right? That's what Satan wants. He wants mass violence. Yeah. He wants us to respond, eye for an eye.
And Christ wants us to be different.
But you know what is encouraging is that never happened one time. It hasn't happened once yet. Mm-hmm. Not one time. Instead, mass revival.
Yeah.
Instantly.
And I think one thing that the enemy didn't expect to come from that is how many people are now prepared to stand more boldly on the truth of the gospel.
Oh, yeah.
Like there were a lot of people that were shy or timid in spirit, and and they would miss opportunities to speak about Christ to people.
Yeah.
But I think that's changed for a lot of people. just from that one moment, just from killing him. They have caused massive boldness for people to continue that, trying to pick up the baton, so to speak.
Yeah, it's like the expectation was that the boldness would have gone in a violent way. There would have been bold violence,
or that it would have created more fear,
more fear and more division,
and caused people to
shell up,
sink back.
Yeah,
but
that hasn't happened,
right?
And I don't think it's going to. Mm-hmm. And now I think people are openly willing to tell the truth in a way that they weren't beforehand, because now the fight is, okay, kill me, do it, because you're just going to make this stick even more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But through that, you're getting the message across to the side that wants to kill people for that. And maybe they'll look at it, even if it's just a handful, and they'll go, wait a minute, these people are willing. They're not scared. They're willing to die for this.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to this. Because are you willing to die for what you believe in? You know what I'm saying? Are you really willing to take one in the neck for what you believe in? Most people aren't.
Yeah.
Most people aren't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's such a weird thing too, because it's not like I'm not inviting violence against myself.
No.
I'm trying to show you the greatest gift ever known to man. And you want to kill somebody for that.
Right.
I mean, that's...
But I think we can't, I think also it's not our job to like dwell on what's wrong with these people. I think we know. I think that the enemy is he is attacking them the same way he tries to attack us through, instead of attacking them through fear, he attacks them through leveraging their emotions against them to act violently toward people they disagree with.
Yeah.
And I think what his intent was for Christians was the opposite. Attack them through fear. Attack them through silencing them and not telling the truth. And so, anyway, I think we needed to have this. We needed to talk about this on our show because we don't have a huge following, but this is what we're about. This is who we are. We are going to boldly proclaim our faith, and it's probably going to offend some people, and that's okay. questions@bydesignshow.com. You can send in however you feel, all right? And we'll hear you out. But we're going to boldly proclaim Christ, period. And we're not going to dance around any truths to try to make people feel better because it doesn't do you any good. If you're listening and you disagree, that's fine. Look, that's fine. You can disagree. But we're going to tell you the truth based on the Bible. And that's that. So anyway, that's. I really just wanted to get on and talk about that for a minute. I think we needed to just get that out. It's been on my heart a little bit, and I think as we're coming back to the show, one of the things we said was that we're going to be bold. And the situation with Charlie kind of brought that to light even more. I had planned on talking about 9/11 a little bit. It's just weird. Why is it the second week of September? There's always something weird, crazy American situation going on.
Let me just drop in there real quick. Our questions at bydesignshow.com.
Yes.
If you want to know about Christ, or walk through any scripture, or if you're seeking some kind of relationship with Jesus, that's what that's there for too. It's not just for correction or concerns about what we've said. If you're on that track and you want to bring Jesus into your life, we would love to talk about that as well.
Or even know about Jesus, dude.
At all, yeah.
Like, you might not be ready to bring Jesus into your life, but it might be one of those things where you're like, all right, what's this actually, like, what do you even mean by that?
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah, we can share with you that. Now, we're not going to debate you, all right? We're not going to take time for you to tell us how we're wrong and sit and debate and talk about who's right and who's wrong. We don't do that, okay? We're not a political show. We're not here to debate you. If you disagree to a point that you can't listen, stop listening. I don't care. We're not here to, again, get millions of listeners. We're here to have good conversations that we like to have.
And be a good steward of the people that trust our opinion for some reason.
Or just enjoy our conversations, right?
Yeah.
Like just, to give you, I know that this episode isn't going to be escape, but through a lot of the things we talk about, you can escape some of that political environment. You can escape some of that heaviness that's in the world every day and learn about how to grow your business. Or, dive into a Bible study, right? And come along with us. The intent behind this show is to add value to your life, not bring you down by talking about politics and debating and all that sort of stuff. It's not who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, man, 9/11, the only thing I was really going to say was, I was going to talk about what that day was like. I was 10 when it happened, and I was in school, and a little small private school in Bullitt County, and they came across the intercom. They thought we were getting invaded. Don't mind Dolly's tapping. They thought the United States was getting invaded, and they told us we could go home. And my grandmother was a teacher. She wasn't my teacher. I was in the 5th grade. And so anyway, we lived like a half a mile from the school, went home, and I was at the house by the time the second plane hit the tower, and we were sitting there watching it. Of course, I was 10. I didn't really know what was going on. I knew it wasn't good. I remember my mom had picked me up after she had gotten off of work, and we were driving. We didn't live far. We lived like a mile and a half down the road. And the gas stations were so packed that you could barely get through traffic getting around the gas stations. People thought there would be no oil, no gas.
Yeah.
After that. Like, people just didn't know what was happening. I still remember that.
Now they do the same thing with bread and milk.
Yeah, and toilet paper.
And toilet paper.
Oh, come on, guys. But yeah, anyway, I remember that. And, I don't know, dude. I feel like my youth was indoctrinated with like war movies and war games. And
Oh, yeah.
it was, we were at war, 2 years after that, or, very shortly thereafter, we had sent special operations groups to Afghanistan. We invaded Iraq in 03, 04. The Battle of Fallujah went on in 04. We were seeing that on TV. Like, we came up and war was surrounding our lives.
Yeah.
And then in 2009, the war's still going on. I enlist and go over there. So this thing that I saw happen on TV at 10 years old, I got to participate in 8 years later. It was still going on. Now I'm over there involved in the same conflict that stemmed from something that I had watched as a kid. And I don't know, man, it's just a weird thing. 9/11 shaped a lot of our generation's lives. That one event had generational impact.
To this day.
Oh, yeah. And generations beyond our generation, because, a lot of these people had issues, right, that came back, and now their kids are impacted by the issues that they have, and so on, right? And so the story goes. It's just a weird, as you sit back now that, we're not at war in Afghanistan, and Iraq has been over for over 10 years now. You sit back and you go, man, that one event rippled across generations, Americans. And you think about all of the Afghans and the Iraqis and the generations that it impacted there, right? A lot of people killed in both of those two countries. A lot of people killed from England and Canada and Georgia and Syria and like all these countries that came and were involved in this conflict. Like when I was in Afghanistan, we stopped at this country. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Anyway, we stopped at a country north of Afghanistan before you actually go into Afghanistan. And
someplace you were totally
it's over
allowed
now.
to be.
I could probably say it. I mean, yeah, we were allowed to be there, but I'm not going
Just
to.
don't.
But anyway, long story short, I mean, there were people from every corner of the planet almost in a coalition fighting against. I mean,
Evil.
It's weird though, dude. This is a rabbit hole that I don't intend to go down.
Okay.
I'm going to try to keep it short here. What happened in 9/11 should have been targeted in Afghanistan. I'm not sure what Iraq had to do with it. But I know that it derived from Afghanistan. And it derived from Osama bin Laden, right? who was hiding in Afghanistan. I don't think he was from Afghanistan, though. I think he's a Saudi, maybe.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a Netflix documentary that talks about this. It's really good. It kind of goes into where he's from. Anyway, long story short, there was a Northern Alliance in Afghanistan that did not like the Taliban. The Taliban believes in Sharia law. Very, like you think about right wing in the United States. This is like the furthest right wing you could ever imagine, right? Like if you use electricity, they'll cut your hands off, kind of a thing. If a woman doesn't cover her face, they'll stone her to death, kind of a thing.
Cover everything, right?
Yeah, but especially a face covering. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for sure, everything. Long story short, very, very crazy, like oppressive.
And a reversion of what it used to be.
Well, the intent behind the Taliban actually, I think by definition, is students of Allah, right? So okay. I think I could be incorrect in saying that, but I think the point of the Taliban originally was to bring young men into the Muslim faith and teach them about their God. Allah just means God, by the way. It's not like
right.
Allah is a different God. You know, their God is a different God than ours, but it means the same thing. They don't. Allah is just the language. It's just what they call God, right?
So if a Christian, we're talking about Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
If an Afghan converted to Christianity, they would still call God Allah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing.
But they would just be talking about the right one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some confusion there. You know, a lot of people say, well, the Muslim God and the Christian God are the same God. They're both called God. Allah just means God. And it's like, yeah, well, they're not, though. Mm-hmm. They are both called, you know, the Muslims call him God, but they're a different God. It's a different God. It's not a God of grace. It's a God that's works-based. Mm-hmm. You can meet him through doing works, through martyrdom, through doing things to meet him, right? Where our God is a God of grace. And obviously Jesus Christ is the bridged gap between us and our God. Muhammad he's not the bridge for them, right? He's just a prophet. He was just prophesying things about their God, right? Mm-hmm. I know this is confusing. But anyway, that's not the point I was trying to make. Afghanistan. So we go over there. You know, they had the Northern Alliance, which was against the Taliban, and we go over, we partner with the Northern Alliance, and we do some damage. And then, of course, you know, Iraq, for some reason, kicks off. I don't know the ins and outs. I was a kid when all this was going on. They tried to oust Saddam Hussein, which obviously it worked. Oh, weapons of mass destruction, that's what it was. Completely irrelevant to 9/11.
I never found any, right?
No.
Yeah.
But
odd.
Daddy Bush was unsuccessful in ousting him in the 90s. So Baby Bush tried to come back and take care of business. So mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm not going to go down the Iraq hole. I don't know anything really about it. I know much more about Afghanistan. Long story short, we killed a lot of people over there, right?
Yeah.
And generational impact for them for many generations to come.
Yeah.
My point in saying all that is these major events that happen create generational impact. And I think we saw that through 9/11 in our own lives. My kids will be affected by that in a way, you know? Like they'll know what I did and it'll have shaped their father's life. And because of that, their lives, their childhood will be different than it might have otherwise, right? Because without 9/11, I don't know what I would have done. Would I have gone on the Marines? I don't know, right?
Yeah.
It's God's orchestrated plan for my life was related to an event that happened in New York City on 9/11, right? I think the same goes for the situation that happened with Charlie Kirk. Now, again, it wasn't an attack on America, on all Americans. But I think that through that, some father or fathers or mothers will come to Christ, and that'll have generational impact on their immediate family, but then many generations to come, right?
Yeah.
And so my point is, I think as Christians, we got to look at it through that lens. Like, God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was really questioning, like, dude, this guy was a champion of faith, boldly in the face of people that hated him, claiming, why would you allow him to get executed publicly?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I mean, let's just kind of look at some things. It's obvious why. You know what I mean? It's obvious why. So many people are going to come to faith because of that.
Yeah.
And so many people are now opening the door to truth and allowing truth in that they might not have otherwise or might not even really cared.
And it also draws a very distinct line in the sand for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is clearly evil.
Yeah.
Now there's people, and I read this perspective somewhere from somebody else that wrote it, but I agree. The people that you're seeing that are celebrating this,
Yeah.
that's evil.
Yeah.
And we have this really clear distinction now.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't clear enough already, which to some it was,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's evil. If you're celebrating that, that's evil.
Oh, period.
So again, there's it's a separation, like a separation of
The chaff and
what's
the wheat.
what.
The
Yeah.
chaff and the wheat are being separated.
There you go. Yep.
You know,
And we're as Christians, we're kingdom citizens before any other government or
yeah. Which, by the way, as a patriotic American that loves this country and is willing to kill and die for it, it's hard to draw the line, to understand that the kingdom comes first. Because in my mind, not you know, after a couple days, I come back to I'm a member of the kingdom before I'm an American, right?
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say even for me, but it's the truth. Truth is, America will fade away one day. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it doesn't and it's here long after I'm gone. Whatever. We are but a vapor. Like this life is just mist. And so if I'm not thinking about, you know, for eternity beyond this life, then I'm not doing my due diligence while I have this time here, this brief moment in time.
yeah.
So we have to think beyond just American culture. Of course, we want our kids and their kids to live in a free country where they can speak boldly about what they believe to be true and not worry about getting shot, right? Like, we want that for them. But at the same time, we are, I think, through speaking boldly and speaking truth, we will create a society where that's possible. It's not going to be through violence and ousting people we disagree with, ever. It's never once gone well. Mm-hmm. And so I think as Christians, you know, we need to look. Now, do I also think we need to protect ourselves? And if someone violently tries to attack us and they miss, should we not take care of that situation? Of course. Should we go seek that out? Absolutely not.
No.
And to your point, the hard line in the sand has been drawn. I think it brought a lot of people off the sidelines. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are like, yeah, I believe in God, but they aren't willing to talk about it. They're not willing to fight for it. You know, they're not willing to really die on that hill. That's over. I think a lot of these people that are on the sidelines are going, okay, there's enough to this that I'm going to boldly proclaim this. Or maybe they're going to go, all right, I need to know what this is about. Mm-hmm. I think that's, you know, that line has been drawn. And yes, these people that are laughing about it or celebrating it, that is evil, right? Mm-hmm. But it's our job to love them anyway and to show Christ's love through us and not hate them the same way they hate us.
It's not irredeemable evil.
No,
they can still be brought back.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, anyway, I think the point of this podcast was really just to announce that, hey, we're going to continue on boldly. We're no more dancing around. I just stuttered. We're going to continue on boldly. No more dancing around. And honestly, dude, I think we need to do a better job of, in our hearts, loving our enemies. And navigating how we can reach them still, even through this hard line in the sand. Mm-hmm. We're no longer going to tolerate hate, but also we are called to love them in spite of the forces that are pushing against them, if that makes sense. We're not at war with flesh and blood.
Exactly.
We are, and that it is what it is, and that's the truth. We're at war against darkness, and through us, we're going to shine the light here on this show, and hopefully, embolden and encourage some people to do the same. But that's what I wanted to get across. Welcome back to the By Design podcast. I think we're not going to really get heavy in the next couple episodes. We're going to be talking to ICANNs, which will be coming out next Monday, and then. We'll be talking to another guy. I'm not going to drop his name yet, but he is out of Lexington, Kentucky, got a big dumpster rental operation down there. He's seen some pretty good growth, and so it'll be good to have him on. I like to have people on the show. There's another country artist who still hasn't blown up yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of Sturgill, got a little bit of Randy.
Hey, dude.
Hey.
If we get that going, that's going to be a wild chat.
Yeah, he's in Nicholasville, so he's not too far. I'm going to reach out to him.
I got some questions.
I bet you do. But yeah, he's going to be good. I hope we get him on. He's got this. I mean, I'm a big Sturgill Simpson fan. If you don't know who he is, go check out Sturgill if you're a country fan. But I came across this dude on TikTok, and he's got this just, I don't know how to describe his voice. It's a Southern gospel Sturgill Randy Travis mix.
Yeah.
And interesting album for sure. But I think he's got some potential to blow up one day, and I'd like to have him on the show to just talk about what his journey is like. What's it like to be because he's kind of outlaw country. He's different. He's not mainstream radio country. He's a Sturgill type or a Tyler Childers type or, one of these kind of underground artists that has potential to really continue to change the game and bring it back to traditional country. And I mean traditional and good lyrical country, not just like your dog left.
Bro country.
Yeah, you pick up, truck broke down. Well, not bro country, but not like late 80s country either, where it was getting away from good lyrical. And this guy's got good, deep lyrics, and I like that.
Pretty deep.
Yeah.
Pretty far out, man.
Yeah. Which is cool, though, Anyway, long story short, we've got some plans to have some really cool guests on, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know this was a little bit of a heavier episode, but especially coming back from a break. But it is what it is. Sometimes things are heavy, and we didn't say anything that hasn't already been said, but we needed to at least stand on what we believe in, and I feel like we got that across here.
Yeah.
And so if you're listening, we appreciate it. We'll be praying for you guys as listeners. I hope you're encouraged, and I hope you're emboldened, and stay strong in your faith. If you have any questions or you oppose us and you want to let us know, or like Tim said, if you have questions about Jesus and you aren't really sure where to start, we're happy to have those conversations. Questions@bydesignshow.com. We'd love to look, it's nothing, we're not going to, this isn't going to be a priest confession where you sit in a booth and you tell us all your sins, okay? But we're happy to point you in the right direction and answer some questions that we might have the answers to. So.
Yeah, and we're not college level, theological professors or nothing, but we've been doing this a while. We know we have a good understanding of Scripture. And we
get a lot of questions even in our own Bible studies that challenge us, that challenge our faith. Like sometimes questions get dropped and it's like, how do I really feel about that? Or where do I stand, or what do I believe in? So we've had the opportunity to talk those things out and not just prove ourselves right, but peel back the onion. So we're more than willing to have that conversation with you too. So we will be dropping this today. You'll see us again next Monday at 8 a.m. with ICANNs. If you own a dumpster rental business, I highly recommend tuning into that. They are becoming a well-known dumpster rental software in the industry right now, and a lot of people have questions about, people want to know who they're working with, and I think a lot of questions will be answered on that episode. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We will see you on the next episode.